Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Derek James here, and today we're going to be looking at a live opportunity. This is a solicitation that is live on SAM.gov, and we're going to be diving into this, breaking it down, and I'm going to be pointing out some important things for you to pay attention to. So if you are on SAM.gov looking at your own opportunities, you're going to kind of be able to mirror the process that we flow through today. And also don't forget that you can still save your seat for my upcoming training. I'll have a link for that down below. Win contracts faster without wasting time and money. And also, if you are looking for coaching and mentoring, that is something that I've recently opened up, and I'll also give you some additional information on that at the end of the training if you want to learn more about that as well. But for today's SAM.gov opportunity, this is for PMC Courier Services. We can see that this is a combined synopsis. The date offers are due is August 5th. And when we scroll down, we can see that the total set aside is, or the original set aside rather, is total small business. They're saying the place of performance is blank, so we'll keep an eye out for that. They're also using the 492.110 Courier and Express Delivery Services NAICS code to describe this. And this also is for the Department of Agriculture, specifically the Agricultural Research Service. So they do have a description that they've pasted in here, so we will take a minute to quickly comb through this. They're letting us know that this is a firm fixed price contract. It's also a RFQ, a request for quote. They're saying this acquisition is for the following items, and it's just a base period PMC courier service. And we'll be learning a lot more about what that exactly means. They're saying responses must include the following items. Cover page. The cover page shall include the company name, point of contact, address, typical POC information. Also, technical section submittal. The technical section submittal shall address the information required in attachment 1, statement of work. And we will be looking at exactly what that looks like. But they're saying quotes which merely paraphrase the requirement within the statement of work or use such phrases such as standard procedures will be employed or well-known techniques will be used. Guys, you don't want to just parrot back what's in the statement of work and say that we will do this. These will be considered unacceptable and may not be considered further. So they want to see not what you're going to do, but how you're going to do it in the technical. They also have a price section submittal. Vendor shall provide a completed price schedule as outlined in section 10 pricing above, which we will look at. No pricing information shall be submitted with the technical section submittal. So they want those broken out: technical, price, and also down here, past performance. So we're looking at essentially 3 different volumes. Only the required minimum amount of information is requested. Don't give us fluff. Efforts should be made to keep quotes as brief as possible, concentrating on the substantive information essential for evaluation only. Acceptable rating and past performance. So past performance will be evaluated using FAR 13.106-2, and it's going to be pass-fail. So acceptable or unacceptable. All responses shall be submitted electronically to Christopher.Tomlin. And then the basis for award is lowest price technically acceptable LPTA. LPTA means the best value is expected to result from the selection of the technically acceptable quote with the lowest evaluated price. What simply means it's not best value evaluation. What they're saying is whatever company checks the boxes sufficiently and has the lowest price will be the company that wins. Or in their words, the lowest price quote will first be evaluated for technical acceptability, and so on and so forth. So whatever the lowest price quote is that meets technical acceptability, that's who's going to win this contract. So for attachments, we have a statement of work, wage determination, and the solicitation doc. So first, when we look at the statement of work, the United States Department of Agriculture operates a print mail center. The print mail center is responsible for printing, folding, inserting, mailing hundreds of thousands of reports every year. The print center requires a contractual courier service to pick up these printed materials processed for outbound mail at our location and then to deliver them to the US Post Office. So it's from here to there. Pick them up, drop them off. The print service requests a contract for 1 year, and the period of performance will commence September 1st. Did I see that they said something different here? No, I didn't. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the contractor, you, shall supply courier services, pick up mail in the USPS full or half trays from the loading dock, deliver mail to the US Post Office, transport mail in secure enclosed locking vehicle. Drivers and mail handlers shall sign the USDA NAS confidentiality certification and abide by policies. Volume and units of mail for pickup and delivery varies. The contractor shall provide tiered pricing, and this will become important in a few minutes. Tiered pricing for 1 to 49 trays, 50 to 99, 100 to 500, and then per pallet. Also, contractor shall provide a bobtail or box truck. Contractor shall provide pallet jack. Okay, so you have to provide this. So if you have to buy this or lease it, rent it, you want to make sure you price it. Then they're saying the dock height and width. Contractor shall contractor responsibility to provide a truck that could utilize the accommodations at each facility, the loading docks. So they are giving us historical data for last year, June to June. And they're saying the assumptions for 2025 and beyond are going to be 200 pallets, over 50 pickups for the year. The government will request service 2 days in advance, so this is not going to be an everyday thing. And the government will cancel requests for service 1 day in advance without incurring a service fee. So, high level, this is the statement of work. This is the work being performed. Next, we have the actual solicitation document as well. So starting out, contracting's info, NAICS code, brief description. We're pretty much good on all that now. Government intends to award a single purchase order under FAR 13 simplified acquisition procedures. So simplified acquisition threshold under 250K. Pretty believable for this requirement. That's going to be 50 pickups limited to 1 year. Here they're saying the base year is August 11th. That's where I was getting ahead of myself a bit, because here it says September 1st. And since this quote is due August 5th, it's highly possible that September 1st will prevail. But you would want to clarify this with contracting. It's also worthy of an RFI. Pricing. This is the pricing table. It's pretty bare bones. So we just have one CLIN for the base fiscal year 25 mail courier service. And keep this in mind, guys. If they like you, they very well may cut a 2, 3, 4 year contract with you, okay? My guess is they're doing a 1 year contract because they want to feel you out first. They've probably been burned in the past. So before they do a long-term contract with a vendor, they want to make sure you're good. Essentially, your courier services are consistent and you're not constantly providing a bunch of different people and your truck is reliable, etc., etc. So for this pricing table, the first thing they ask for is flat rate first 3 pallets. So flat rate first 3 pallets. I want to compare that to, remember they asked us to provide tiered pricing for 1 to 49, 50 to 99. When I look at this table, I'm not really able to make sense of these two different things. The second thing that they ask for in this table is price per additional pallet. So I could see that working here. But flat rate for the first 3 pallets, that's not really leaving room for the tiered pricing for the trays that they've asked for. So this is probably one of my bigger questions for contracting to clarify. How do they want pricing broken out? Do they want it here along with the price per pallet, or do they want you to use this table? Because in the evaluation and instructions are telling you to use this pricing table. And then lastly, estimated usage based funding per year. And so again, are they wanting us here to use the 200 pallets and 50 pickups estimate and just kind of quantify that out for them? It's kind of what it looks like, but again, this part and this part is not apples to apples. So when we scroll down to C4, instruction to vendors. Again, in awarding this proposed contract, USDA will select the contractor who presents the lowest technically acceptable price. The vendor shall submit quotes via email to Christopher Tomlin with the subject line of quote 123. So literally, if you don't use this as your subject line, they could literally throw out your bid. They're also asking only those quotes received by this date and time will be considered for award. Quotes shall be good for a 90-day calendar period. So make sure that your pricing is good for 90 calendar days. Now here they go to spell out more about the cover page, which we pretty much covered, but that technical section submittal shall address the information required in attachment 1 statement of work and demonstrate the technical capability and qualifications to meet attachment 1 statement of work. So think about your truck. Think about your ability to be responsive within 2 days to pick this up. Think about who your certified person is going to be. This submittal shall be specific, detailed, and complete enough to clearly and fully demonstrate understanding of the requirements. Quotes which merely paraphrase, we already read this. So same for the pricing and the past performance. This was what was spelled out in the listing description. Again, for the evaluation, it's going to be as we've covered. So being tried and true with the RFQ, it's about all that we're going to have for this. Now, I'm a little curious at what AI thinks that this contract could price out to be. So I want to see if we can somehow just do high level, and we can use these estimates, right? Do we have locations? We do. We do have addresses. Contractors pick up mail. First, let's see if we can use the contractor requirements. Please provide pricing based on the following information and include estimates for 50 pallets, or I'm sorry, it should be 200 pallets, right? $200 pallets and 50 pickups over 1 year. So this is like really kind of messy, but just to see what we're starting to look like here. So it's giving us the tray-based tiered pricing, consistent with this. $75 for the first 49, then 125, up to 99, and then 175 for 100 to 500. Estimated rate per pickup. So this is large load, requires a box truck, as opposed to a light load, which could be a van or a small box truck. Pallet-based pricing, $45 per pallet. Based on 200 pallets, it's a $9,000 annual subtotal, they're saying. Estimated pickup labor charge, $2,500 annually, based on a $50 pickup. And then they're saying a one-time annual fee for driver compliance, $500. So they're estimating total annual cost, way lower than I would have expected, $18,250. Tray-based, pallet handling, pickup labor, and confidentiality compliance fee. The tray-based pricing estimate assumes on average $125 per pickup across all volumes. This can be adjusted on actual pickup data. So that is very interesting to me. My guess is that the contract could go for more than this because there may be some things that have not been accounted for. When it comes down to the operations and fulfillment of this contract, is this going to be enough money? Let me ask. What profit range would you estimate and all other costs incurred to be considered when calculating a total price submission for this contract? So now they're talking about other things like vehicle maintenance, truck fuel, insurance, depreciation of equipment like the pallet jack. They're also giving you some overhead for bookkeeping, payroll compliance, possible contingencies, repairs. And they're giving you a low 10% profit, then reasonable is 15 to 20, which I would agree. If this is going to be lowest price technically acceptable, you're going to want to be on the lower end for sure. Can you calculate a final price when considering all of these items and pricing for a LPTA strategy procurement? So now they're breaking down direct cost per pickup once again, pallet handling, and this is not your final pricing. To be clear, this is just us having a little bit of fun, getting some ballparks. So we go up to basically 22,000 instead of the original 18,000 because of these additional costs as well as your profit, which at 10% you're going to make a couple grand on this thing. You have to determine if it's worth it. Maybe you can go up to 15. But it's basically one vehicle, one person, one jack to bounce back and forth 50 times throughout the year, which is basically going to be around an average of once per week. If there's 52 weeks in a year, you can think about it as once per week. So you will also want to consider, what can the follow-on contract look like? This is an opportunity to gain past performance with USDA, and you don't know what additional work can come from that, and you don't know what the lifetime value of this contract could become if they have other needs at other customers on base, etc., etc. So I think this one was interesting. I think this is definitely one that I feel good about sharing with you guys. And just kind of how to navigate AI just a little bit to help you perhaps start to ballpark into your pricing. Of course, that's not necessarily going to be your final pricing, but it could be one piece of raw data to get started with. You definitely want to find out if there's an incumbent contract on this to see what that price was for. You also, if you're going to be using more AI, you also want to ask, is it possible that there's other contingencies, other things to consider? That way you're not missing something with your pricing. And you're also going to want to submit an RFI to clarify some of the information, like I mentioned, for the pricing not matching up, also the period performance. However, I'm less concerned about the POP. They're probably going to kick it back a little bit, especially because they're looking for LPTA on this. But consider also providing a resume as part of your technical response too. Don't just say that you will, you shall. Demonstrate how you are going to meet the requirements. And I think we did a fairly good high-level job at hitting the important points for this particular contract. So don't forget to save your spot for my upcoming training. Once again, win contracts faster without wasting time and money. It's only 30-35 minutes. I highly recommend it for everybody. And the link for that will be down in the description. And also, if you are interested in coaching, mentoring with me personally, there will be information on that at the end of the training to learn more about that as well. And definitely check the video description down below for the other GovCon resources that we have to offer. If you're new to the space and you're looking for additional support, we can help you more than likely. And any questions, always feel free to email us too at support@govkidmethod.com. So guys, like the video today, subscribe to the channel if you are new here, welcome, and until next time, guys, you got this.